Today, we're looking at Diamine's Rustic Brown. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. Now, Diamine's Rustic Brown is kind of a magenta brown ink. To make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples, I put the ink into a different pen for a day, I then put it into a nib-assigned Singularity with a fine nib to take my notes for this video. Now before we go to the writing samples, let's look at the sciencey bits. Up first is the chromatography, and I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. What we see is this very magenta pushing its way up, and it becomes a very, very dark magenta with some brown leaning ink at the top. It's like a very brown leaning magenta. The one on the right I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into water, and the line across the bottom is darker and more there. The ink doesn't travel as far. But that's largely the difference we see between these two inks. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it might be to clean from your pens. Now I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, it handles it basically well. I think what bled into the highlighter was from the smear, not from the writing. The writing went from an extra fine to almost a medium. It doesn't blow out and become unreadable, making me feel okay in a note-taking situation with this ink. Water is removing all of the darkest tones and leaving a very kind of flat magenta tone in its place. It's not going to be enough. Pen Flush did everything that water did and a bit more. It is definitely getting a lot lighter in areas that the Pen Flush was in, and it only had 30 seconds there. But there's a lot of ink left behind from this Pen Flush. Now, if that's not enough, a 1/3 bleach solution completely removed it from the page. And if you use a 1/3 bleach solution, just immediately flush out your pen so you don't rust metal parts. For the inks I've tested, I have found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Diamine's Rustic Brown has a viscosity of 2.16, making it just squeak its way into normal. To find my average dry time, I use my writing samples done with the extra fine and medium nib on Clairefontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. For the inks I've tested, I have found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Diamine's Rustic Brown has an average dry time of 19 seconds, making it normal, just normal. Now, let's look at the writing samples. I picked this ink up in sample form, and just look at that in the vial. That is a rich, saturated ink. Look at how it just stays coating the sides of that vial. Very interesting. To keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairefontaine. We get no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1, just stop and look at that color for a second. The colors that are coming out here. Yes, it is definitely a brown, but look, you see the smear is a red. It's a brown with something going on. This is not just. This is an ink that screams, this is a fountain pen. Because I don't know that you can find a tone like this in any kind of rollerball or gel pen or anything. Just, it's got something beautiful about it. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shading. The extra fine is the same exact tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 14 seconds to dry. The medium is the exact same tone as the extra fine and the 1.1. The medium has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 18 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it, and the smear test you could definitely recover if you smeared while you were writing with this beautiful ink. But look at that, the smear shows the red because it says brown, and everything about the color in its chromatography, which you've already seen, says red. The smear test says red, except the spots that's very dark, it says brown, but the writing says brown. Beautiful. Tomoe River, no bleeding. Of course, we have some minor ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shading. The extra fine is the exact same tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 21 seconds to dry. The medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the 1.1. The medium has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 26 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it. In a smear test, I think you could recover this if you smeared while you were writing. I'm just looking to see how the tone is completely unchanged from going from white to a cream paper. Very nice stuff. Super beautiful. Just, this color is amazing. Rhodia, no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is the exact same tone as the 1.1. The extra fine has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shading, 16 seconds to dry. The medium is the exact same tone as the extra fine and the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 19 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it and we didn't get it. And the smear test you could definitely recover if you smeared while you were writing. So we go to look at yellow toned paper because I'm very interested in what some of these inks do when we change the tone of their background paper. Now this is Rhodia, so we get no bleeding and no ghosting, and we basically expect that. What happens to it compared to white paper? Absolutely nothing. This is a very rich, saturated ink. Just super opaque and a great color, man. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine is the exact same tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, or shade, 16 seconds to dry. The medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 19 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it. And the smear test, still, you could definitely recover this if you smeared while you were writing. Black and red notebooks, they have been really, for me, I didn't know anything about them. I'd never heard of them when I picked them up to get this. I just stumbled across it and said, sure, let's beat up on another notebook company. And you know what? They stand out fantastic. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine is slightly lighter than the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 11 seconds to dry. The medium is a darker tone, the same dark tone as the 1.1, which is a little darker than the extra fine. The medium has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, and no shade, 13 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it. In a smear test, you could definitely recover this if you smeared while you were writing. G. Lalo. It's a nice laid paper, no bleeding, no ghosting, but I'm interested in the tone difference and look at those 1.1s straight across, all the way down to a very, that dark gray paper, same exact tones. Look at the extra fines, same exact. Mediums, same exact. This is a beautifully boring ink. Beautifully boring. Absolutely predictable in every way, and it's got the it. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what this means, but it's got that je ne sais quoi. That's something. I don't know what, but this stands out just amazing. Did you hear that? I said something in French. That makes it fancy.
The 1.1 has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. The extra fine is a noticeably lighter tone. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade. This is the only time we're really, well, noticeably lighter, but it's funny because I'm going to say noticeably lighter, but look, these were same tones. These look the same tones. So what I want to say is the noticeably lighter has to do with the background. It's just it's one of these things with color theory and how it works, that you can make a blue look more green by having a green background, or you can have a green look more blue by having a blue background. And that's what I think's going on here. Because when I put all the writing samples next to each other, it's the exact same tone, the exact same color. But here it looks noticeably lighter. So I believe that's just an effect on the eye, like what you would see in color matching for, in color theory. Do a little bit of research on color theory and how you can make one color look more like another by the colors you put next to it, and that's what's happening right here. Very cool. The extra fine has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 9 seconds to dry. The medium is the same dark tone as the 1.1. It has no feather, spread, halo, sheen, no shade, 12 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it. We didn't get it in the smear test. Yes, you could definitely recover this if you smeared while you were writing. And that is all that I have for the writing sample.
Instead of finding inks that look like Diamine's Rustic Brown, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. Now, it's very magenta-y, and I wanted a light green. I went with Robert Oster's Lemon Grass. Before I give my opinion on this ink, I would ask, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if it's your first time here, I would invite you to subscribe. So what do I think of Diamine's Rustic Brown? In a dry pen, it has some very interesting shading that goes on. It's really very nice. And in a wet pen, there's something special about the brown that you start to see coming through. The tone difference that you get with this ink, depending on the size of the nib and wetness of the pen, is really something special. You just need to know which tone for this ink that you're getting with your pen. Test it out before you just show up somewhere thinking you're getting more magenta and you get more brown. Thanks for watching.